And now we will be talking technicals of the market because it has been about technicals for the last 1 year. Despite of very supportive macros, earnings, all of that, if you've not been keeping an eye on technicals, probably you wouldn't. It will be difficult for you to navigate the markets. We have got Meghana Malkan, who's joining us today right in our ET Now studios. Meghana, thank you so much for joining over and coming over. So Meghana, technicals, right? Yesterday, in the first half hour of trade, we almost thought the Nifty nosedived to 21,300, right? And this after having a very good last 2 weeks. And then look at how markets gapped up today. So one is not getting a handle on technicals, one is feeling a little disadvantaged. How are you looking at the technicals of the market right now, starting from Nifty and Bank Nifty?
So, hi, first of all, thank you for having me over, Ajay. Thank you. So when we look, technically when we look at the markets, the way we look in terms of time frames. We call it the market view. So when you look at the macro view, which is the major view of the market, that kind of gives you a sense of the trend. To my mind, macro view is bullish, and whatever small term trends are happening in the direction of macro view, which is bullish. So I know it nosedived and we had this sudden scare. It gives a lot of instability to someone who doesn't have the view. But when you have the view, I see the longer term really bullish on Nifty. As long as 21,200 holds, I think that's a major support, and it shouldn't be, as long as it holds that, I think we are safe. 21,900 is something that I'm looking at crossing over the longer term. So I think that should be it for Nifty. And for Bank Nifty, I see it going 48,700. I think that is where you're looking at.
Okay, so 700 point surge in the Bank Nifty in the medium term, and 21,900 is your level for Nifty. Because we are almost 21,500 is made. That's the near term thing. But if I were to ask you to look at the 2024 kind of trend, slightly longer term, because we are at the time of the year when we take stock of longer term trends, and people have been spoilt of very good returns this year. For 24, do you think it will be what do the charts tell you, the mid cap index, small cap, or the large caps? Where do you think good return, the possibility of good returns in the new year?
So when you talk about 24, I think there are two major things that are going to govern the markets in 24. One is our local elections, Indian elections, and then you have US elections. So apart from level, if you talk about the volatility, I think we're going to have tremendous volatility and movement in the coming year. The sectors that I think auto sector, infrastructure is something that I'm really looking at investing big time, going heavyweights on these two sectors. But talking about the levels on the major indices, I think it's more of volatility. Yes, and I do look at Nifty crossing 22,000 soon and then reaching 24,000. But in a straight line, in a trended way, no ways, because we are going to expect a lot of volatility. So that is a boon for traders because that gives you more earning opportunities, more movements, more micro trends to make money from.
Fair point. That's a very good point you made, that it won't be a one straight line. 24,000 is even possible in 24, but be ready for a very volatile kind of a ride from here on. Auto is about, you spoke about the two-wheeler stocks. Maruti has done well this year. Two-wheeler stocks have come back, Hero, TVS. Within auto, any particular name which you like, which can be bet upon?
I think I'm looking at Tata Motors. Tata Motors is something that's given me a long-term technical breakout. So that is something that I'm investing my micro trends in Tata Motors as well.
Yeah, in fact, it turned out to be the stock of the year from January to December till date. It's up more than 60-70%. Any other space apart from autos, and Tata Motors, of course, has done very well this year. For 24, which you'll have on your radar?
I'm looking at infra. Specifically, I'm looking at DLF. I think that's giving longer term breakout, and it does have a lot of potential in spite of doing what it's already done. I think DLF is something that I would go heavyweight on.
Put up DLF. DLF is what, almost double in 2023, and by the looks of it, if you track the earnings and the new launches, it's not getting slowing down by any measure. 700. So you expect it to go to what, 1,000 this year? Possible? Any targets? Anything in mind?
So my first target is 820 to begin with, technical. And then I do look at it crossing 950.
Wow, almost 1,000 for new year. All right. So before I let you go, Meghana, because you work very closely with people on ground, retail investors, traders across the country. And we are looking at a surge in the cult of investing, trading across the country. If demat account additions are any indication, give us a sense. Do the people? Is it the return which are pulling people into the market? Is it that genuine thirst that it's not being seen as gambling anymore? people are taking it much more seriously. Give us some feedback because you work with thousands of people across the country.
So two things here, Ajay. First is the COVID. Post-COVID, there has been a drastic surge in demat accounts. Reason being that market was the only thing which was driving people at that point of time, right? That was one thing. Second thing is now we have more of people looking at it from an educated point of view. Okay, this is something which is just not gamble. You can study.
It's a skill. It can be acquired.
It can be acquired, and just like any other business. So trading is now emerging as just any other business. You have a system and a process that we propagate, and then anybody can make money.
Great. Thank you, Meghana. Thanks very much for joining us on the show today. With that, it's a wrap. It's a skill, and you can acquire it with practice and processes. That's the word from Meghana, who's also a professional trader and a coach, a trading coach, along with Vishal, of course, her husband. We'll take a short break on that note, come back with more news and updates and analysis on the other side. Don't go anywhere.